and I won't repeat what I said before because I'm not trying to be mean, but I just feel like y'all know this man doesn't have any kids. Like, if you're seriously interested in him, you really should think about the fact that if you're willing to have another kid, if y'all were serious, like that really should be a consideration for a man who's 34, who you want to be a father figure to. You're not one, but two kids for both of you guys. Just something I think you should consider. So,
I agree with Seaway. I thought it was kind of refreshing the way he came. He came off genuine, right? He came off authentic. He came off like he was really caring. I can see at 34. Depends on what he's a high school. He's just a PE teacher. So it depends. If you work around little kids all day, I can see how that turns you off a bit when you have kids. It just depends on what level he's at. In the school system. I can see that when he worked with kids every day. So a person who could be, he's like, you know what, I'm fine when I have my own because every day I go to school, I'm a father to 34 kids, 100 and some kids, whatever case may be. I'm in part taking them. I can see that. Just a thought and theory I had, but I thought Rashina and him had a great date. The dog date was a little wild though, but uh, if you're a dog person, you enjoyed it, right? I think the place was called Mutts. Great concept. But they enjoyed each other. I do, everybody is falling heads over heels over Justin. To this point that Patrice invited him to Chaz's house without being asked. I don't know if that was production or that was real, but everybody wants a piece of him, right? I think it was production because you can't just walk up in my house anyway and be like, "Hey, what's up, dog?" And have a seat. Like we didn't invite you. But again, Patrice wanted to be with Justin, so everybody's different. And I took that as being, you know what, these women know that with him just being a different guy, and they looking at the guys they have around. About 2 weeks in, I think you be like, I think you're at a point where you know who you really like, who you don't like, and what are you willing to play the game or not, right? So with him being there, new everybody's trying to put their claws in him, and I hope Justin stays true to himself and he shows us who he really is. And maybe he is the person who's really trying to find love. He probably does want because if you from the clip he gave Mika a different answer than he gave Rashina because for Mika when he was with Rashina he says um, I've come to the terms I might not ever have kids or I don't want kids. But when you see the clip with Mika, he said, "Yeah, you know what? I'm open to it." So it was two different things he said to two different women. So kind of agree with Seaway. They might be playing on him a little bit. If you don't want to have kids, don't mess with him. He's 34. Let him have kids if he wants to. But we'll see.
And yeah, like I agree with that, with what Glenn said as well. I think the thing with Justin is he's going to be very popular because he can actually play both sides, right? On the one hand, he says he's open to not having kids. He's kind of resigned himself to the possibility that it might not happen. But at the same time, because he doesn't have any of his own, and some of the ladies on the show don't, um, like he's still available to date them, and it would be a first for both of them if they were to get together. So I think he stands a good chance of um, staying on because he hasn't alienated one particular group either way, and also he is around kids all day at school at work. So at this point, he might feel like, you know what, I'm with kids all day, every day. When I go home, um, you know, it's he doesn't mind being around them. And it also shows that he can be around children and know how to, um, be comfortable in his role around children because he's got that experience at work all the time. So in his personal life, if he does meet a lady with kids, it's not going to be so foreign, if you get what I mean. Like he's not going to have to work on learning personalities and things like that. He might actually be likable because of his field. PE, sports, if the lady's got two boys, then that's something that he can use to create a bond with those children. So yeah, I think he's going to be popular. Um, my only thing with Justin is at 34, will these there are some that have indicated that they will date younger, but how many? Because a lot of the women may be older than him. That's my thoughts.
Cool. Appreciate it. Any other thoughts on this before we switch it again?
Are we talking about just the date or even when he went over Chaz's house and stuff too? Or are we just that
You
one
know what? I
day?
didn't even see that part, so you can go for it if you want. I didn't actually get to see it. I don't know why on my thing I didn't see it, so go for it.
Jazz try to shade him.
He did though.
Serious?
He tried to, so when he came over to Chaz's house, um, he mentioned that, like he was kind of like, I'm from Mississippi. This is the first time meeting some of the people, whatever. He was like, my granddad is the mayor of whateverville, some small town place. And Chaz was like, why did you lead with that? Why did you say that? Even though I was kind of thinking the same thing. Like, why do we care what your granddaddy was doing? Whatever. But that was his little, I guess, fun fact that he wanted to add into the mix or whatever. But Chaz tried to call him out, like in front of everybody, but he didn't back down, which I liked. I was like, he didn't just let him punk him, even though this your house and everything, And then he beat him in dominoes in his own house. So that was funny to me. I like when people, there's certain guys that will try to, put their little, alpha male energy or whatever you want to call it out there. And
Dick measuring contest.
yeah, dick measuring. I like that one. And that didn't work. So I like that as well. Again, same thing that Red did to Christopher when he came into the date, like, oh no, no. And it's like you'd be like, nah, like don't let him fuck you like that. So I like that. I feel like he had a good personality at the house and was able to mix and mingle just fine, which is probably why they picked him to be like, the person to come in at this point. His personality showed that he can mix it and mingle it. So that was cool. I think obviously they said Patrice invited him, but it's a part of the TV, production obviously did it. But because I'm like, how did Patrice get his number? Like she never had met him except for at that one time, so you could kind of narrow that down that it wasn't like that. So anywho, I thought it was good. You didn't see the house date? You didn't see the house part at all?
Kojo's acting like me now. I took notes. We done switched places.
I only got to see the part with Vanessa and Chaz. That's the part I got to see. But other than that, I don't need to see anything else.
Oh damn! Okay,
Now,
so that you missed the apology from.
Yeah, I missed the apology. Yeah, I couldn't see it.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, we'll get to that later.
Oh man, go for it. Go for it. We
now,
might as well while we're here.
Aries.
Yes.
Question. Now, why would you think Patrice would lie and say that she invited him if she didn't?
Not necessarily lie, but just like how people say, I set up a date with these people. Nobody's setting up dates. You don't know who you're going on these dates with. Those are usually post-production conversations. That's just my 2 cents on that. But not saying that she lied. I'm just saying that it's a part of the way they set the show up.
They got to give away that he got there. So somebody,
like he just ran. He not gonna. There has to be some kind of way that he came to the house. So, that was just the narrative they went with. I think
they said you in a dungeon, Sean.
Yeah, I'm driving.